and gentlemen. Welcome to the best sports show in Kansas City. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio, where sports come alive. Join your hosts, the awesome voice, and Coach 24 as they dive into the latest sports news, analysis, and excitement. From the biggest games to the most thrilling moments, they've got it all covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an hour of unbeatable sports action. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio.
UAW. I am Brian Kress, the awesome voice. Coach 24, my brother with another mother, Darwin Penny, is not here. He is out on his job again, doing scouting, but with a little twist. They are up in Canada right now, celebrating him and his wife, Maria, a phenomenal woman. She is awesome. I just love her to death. Anyway, they are in Canada celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary. So congratulations to you, Darwin and Maria, and can't wait to see you guys when you get back. So definitely. And running the show behind the scenes, DJ Scatter, Mr. George Walker. How are you doing this evening, Mr. Walker?
Well, I'm doing just fine this evening, and how are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well, thank you. I am always doing well when I am here talking sports. Now, our guest host, Shane Allen, could not make it tonight, just a little bit under the weather, but he will be back hopefully next week, and we will definitely talk baseball and sports, hopefully with the Royals in the playoffs, because I'm telling you what, before we get there, we were not here last week. There was a reason why we were not here last week, and it has to do with Mr. Walker and Mrs. Walker. And so will you please tell us where you were at and just give us some little information about it.
Like I know where I was. Well, we were down at the Municipal Auditorium in the exhibition hall, and the name of the group, KC Moore KC, something like that. They had one of the TV announcers doing, one of the news people from television that was the master of ceremonies, and they were recognizing all the good things that this Moore KC, I want to say that's what it was.
Moore KC?
Yeah, that was the organization
okay.
that was putting this on. So it was decent food, entertainment. They had a guy singing who I didn't know, but he put on a pretty good show, and it was a few people there that were who do I want to say? Not notables. It wasn't out of the sports world at all, but different people around the city.
City notables.
Yeah, it was city notables. A couple of the politicians, council members, and I think the state rep was there. Not state rep, state senator.
Okay.
Was there. So, they had a few names there, and we ate, and couple hours in, 6 to 8 o'clock, so they got their awards out and they did all their stuff real. I say it was timely, but it was fun. It was some good people. Our former councilman Lee Barnes and his wife Terry were the we sat at their table. That's
nice.
That's who had brought us in.
Oh, okay.
Down there and stuff. So it was kind of good. To see some people, and all of that. So it was a good time to be had, but it's all right to be back in this seat again.
Yes, absolutely. But was the mayor of Kansas City there?
No, he did not show up. The mayor wasn't there. I'm trying to think of, it was a lot of people, say, in the nonprofit world
Oh, nonprofit community.
that was there. Yeah, it was a lot of the nonprofits and a couple of foundations that were there. You know, it wasn't like the big celebrity type of event, but it was quite a few people there. I had to say that there was. It's about an organization of different denominations
Right.
that come together for the better. So it's churches, synagogues, temples, all of that. The people were from different states, and it's a national organization. So it was more KC, but there's other more
Right.
across the country doing that. So it was a big organization. They had some people up from Dallas, and the St. Louis group of the same group. They were there. So it was a good time, a good time.
Well, absolutely. That's awesome. Hey, anytime that you can get dressed up to the tens and looking very, very sharp, and you've got beautiful candy on your arm. You know,
Oh yeah,
you can't.
Yeah, that was it. I was looking like a bum, but she looked good.
She always looks great.
Yeah.
So in other words, she made you look good.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
okay.
That's the way that works. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that's okay. That is all right.
Absolutely.
So speaking of events and charities, I guess you could say, and everything else, this Saturday at the Asperia campus, which is the old Sprint campus, 6130 Sprint Parkway in Overland Park, Kansas, there will be a ALS walk starting registration starting at 9:00. So Shane Allen has a team called Conquering ALS with Baseball Shane. So if anybody wants to go out and either join his team, which I plan on doing that on Saturday, or if you want to get a team and collect money for ALS, absolutely do that. Now, saying that, registration starts at 9 a.m. They have pre-event activities from 9 o'clock to 10:30, and then at 10:30 they are going to do a 1-mile walk around the campus. Now, if you get a team and your team collects over $100, you can get some T-shirts. You can also get some prizes. There's some booze. There's going to have a lot of fun stuff out there. So definitely do that, especially for ALS. Shane does have ALS. He he does his best to, not show people that he's got it, but, we go out and we can go golfing and everything else, but at the same time, he still has some of the issues going on. He doesn't put a sign on him that says, "Hey, look, I've got ALS." He wants to live his life as normal as possible, just like anybody else does. So, but come on out. You can. I talked with Jessica Springer, who is the chairman or whoever's she's in charge of this walk. So definitely go up with her, meet with Shane. Hey, you can even meet with me. If you guys want autographs, I may charge $1 or $2, and all the proceeds would go to ALS, or I'll just give you one for free, or if you even want a picture with me. So anyway, so that, you guys can do that. That would be awesome. But anyway, the more people, the better. It is for a great cause. It is a debilitating disease with absolutely no cure as of right now. And I know people have been working hard since 1939 to try to figure this out, because ALS is called the Lou Gehrig disease, named after the New York Yankee former slugger who passed away from that horrible disease, and ironically ended his streak of consecutive games. So, I mean, this is not a fun disease whatsoever, but it would be awesome if everybody would come and make it out. So I just wanted to let everybody know. And so we are going to get going. Now, I am wearing Salvador Perez's jersey. And the reason why is because last week I didn't think that the Royals had a prayer in heck of making the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden, they have come from underneath the grave. That they look like they were buried and gone. The Detroit Tigers, of all teams, had came up out of nowhere and has now tied with the Kansas City Royals for the second wild card. So right now we've got the Yankees. They are leading Baltimore by 4 games, and pretty much the Yankees are going to win the American League East, and them and the Cleveland Guardians are tied, well, roughly tied for first. Actually, the Guardians are one half a game back. They have one more loss than the Yankees. But the winner of those two, well, those two are going to get the first round byes, but then they'll decide which one will have the better record or not. Houston has already clinched the AL West. Seattle was 4 games back, but they got eliminated. Kansas City eliminated Seattle along with Detroit with their wins today. And Kansas City, who had lost 7 games in a row, and I said earlier this week that the Royals was not going to make the playoffs. You know, I'm just going to keep saying that because they seem to play better when I say that, but when I say, oh, they have a chance, they just lose games. Now, this is how bad that the Royals had been the last week. On the Monday prior, not 3 days ago, but the week before, Bobby Witt Jr. hit a grand slam home run. That was the last home run, and it was also the last time that they had a batter drive in multiple runs with a hit since today. I mean, that was the last time. And then today they finally actually last night they did. Grossman drove in 2 runs in the 3-0 victory. So they had been struggling. The last 60 innings prior to yesterday's game, they had scored 5 runs. 5 runs in the last 60 innings. That's almost 7 games that they have played. They scored 1 run Friday night. Then they didn't score a run at all Saturday or Sunday or Monday. And I'm telling you, it was really bad. But the savior was the starting pitching. The starting pitching, which has had the second most innings in baseball over anybody else, and their ERA, which I believe was 3.50, was also the second lowest in baseball. That's how well they've been pitching, and the pitching themselves have been saving this season because since Pasquantino got injured in Houston, they have just been atrocious. And so they have struggled to get runs. I mean, you virtually had to use an eyedropper for them to get runs and everything. But thank goodness that they would shut out teams. They had a franchise record 25 straight innings of giving up 0 runs, which is amazing. And so and the bullpen has gone 30 innings of pitching without giving up a run. I'm telling you what, if it wasn't for them, they would already be talking about next season. But right now, they go to Atlanta, which ironically is in the middle of Hurricane Helena. Is it Helene? Helena? Helene. Well, it's Helen, but it has an E on the end. It's Helene. So
Might be Helene.
yeah, so we'll say Helene. Hurricane Helene.
Or
Either
the E might be silent.
well, it could be silent. So we can do Helen. We can do Helen / Helene. Either way, she is a bad mama jama out there in Florida, and so in Georgia, Atlanta had canceled their last 2 games with the Mets. Though yesterday they could have played the game early in the day and at least got one of the games in, but they didn't. So now they've got to play a doubleheader on Monday because right now, so the AL is almost pretty much set. If the Royals and Detroit win one more game, it's done. They have clinched the spot. Or if Minnesota loses one more game, I mean, because they are 3 games, or technically two and a half games, but they play tonight. If they lose tonight, then they're officially 3 games. So that all that means is the Royals and the Tigers just need to win 1 game to make the playoffs. But in the National League, you've got this kind of the same scenario. You have the Mets at 87 and 70. You've got Atlanta at 86 and 71. But you have the Arizona Diamondbacks at 88 and 71, which is 1 game better than the Braves, but they've played 2 more games than Atlanta. So Atlanta needed to make up those 2 games, which would have been those 2 games against the Mets that they just had. The Padres have already clinched the first wild card, just like Baltimore has in the American League. The Dodgers, they have clinched the playoffs, and the Phillies have clinched the playoffs. So both of them pretty much have the first round bye, and the Milwaukee Brewers have already clinched. I mean, they were 10 games. They're 10 games ahead of St. Louis, so they're just way ahead of them. But Milwaukee will play the winner of the 3rd wild card team, and so they've got those going on. But with the hurricane going on out there, it's going to be a mess. Now, a lot of people are complaining that that they should postpone it. They should move the playoffs ahead. Just tell TV and all that. Look, if Atlanta would have just played the game yesterday, then they would not have to go in and play this doubleheader on Monday. That's not us. That's these teams sometimes they just think that they can just sit there and they can say, oh, we won't play, we'll just do this. No, it's not going to be like that. And the fact is that hurricane had been going on for, I guess, at least a week, that they knew that it was coming up. So I would think that you would prepare a little bit, kind of be like Boy Scouts.
Or sort of like the Royals did when they moved their game up 2 hours.
Exactly. Last Saturday, it was like that. I mean, it was just a thunderstorm. It wasn't even a hurricane. And they moved the game from 6:10 to 4:10. So, and speaking of that, we were both at the game. You were there for KUAW night. So tell us a little bit who was all there and how it was and everything.
Well, hey, we had a great time out there, and Tyrone didn't get another ball, so.
Oh, he didn't? Did it even come close?
No, we didn't even get a ball up there this time. So
oh, man.
I said, well, usually they at least hit one on the, roof of the press box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually there's one that'll bounce off the press box. And I think they did, but it was way over on the other side. It wasn't close to us.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, we had a good time. Chris and his wife and his lovely family, his daughter is getting taller. And I tell you, I see them every year when we go out there, and the kids are just growing up. So that was good. My brother and his wife came out. So we had a good crowd, and I don't know if you know our robotics coach, but Miguel, him
I
and a
think I
couple
know
guys,
of him. I don't personally know him.
right, from his job, they came out. So we had a nice little group there. Just, boy, we could have got a run.
I
We could
know.
have got one run, would have been something. But I think we left 5 men on or 6 men on. Every time, even if we had a leadoff batter get a hit, they couldn't move him.
Nope.
It
I don't think.
just-
I don't think any of our runners were even reached third base.
No. I think Bobby Witt got a double.
Right.
There was a couple of doubles hit, and they never moved after that.
Nope.
It was like, okay, then there's 3 outs. It just, and I'm about like you. It was just amazing to see that they won a couple of games after this, because I was counting them out. I said, man, they got so close this year
Yep.
and fizzled. But they're, I guess the juju turned around a little bit, and now they're winning. They haven't clinched though. They still need a couple of games, don't they?
Well, right now their number is 2.
Yeah.
So that it's a combination of a win and Minnesota loss. But see, Minnesota plays tonight, so we don't know what that will be. If Minnesota loses tonight, then Detroit and Kansas City, it's 1. So right now, Kansas City has the second wild card because they have the
tiebreaker with
tiebreakers
Detroit.
over the Tigers. But if Minnesota and Kansas City were tied, Kansas City would lose the tiebreaker. So that's very important. So anyway, but even if the Royals lose all 3 games this weekend, Minnesota has to go 3-1 because they've got tonight's game and then they've got the 3 games. And I think they play the Tampa Bay Rays, if I'm not mistaken. I know Detroit plays the White Sox, and the White Sox right now at 39 and 120 are 1 loss away from breaking the 1962 New York Mets record of 40 and 120.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing:
We
they
weren't
have
even that bad last
they have
year.
won 5 of the last 7. So they have been fighting. I mean, they waited until they got to this point. They was like, okay, we'll wait until we lose 120 games, and then we will start fighting. Now, here's the thing. Today's game, they played the Los Angeles Angels, and so the loser, so either the White Sox, had they lost, would have had the major league record for most losses. So what happened was the Angels just set a record for the most losses in their franchise history with 96. So both of them are the 2 worst teams. Now, saying this, the AL Central, which has been the laughingstock of the last, maybe 3 or 4 years, it's like one team will barely scratch out of it. You've got 4 teams right now that are fighting for a playoff spot. So 2 of them will make it and 1 won't. But the fact is that they became the best division in baseball this year. So that was a great turnaround in itself.
Yep.
And the Detroit Tigers, I believe they've had the best record in baseball since the All-Star break, winning like 17-6 or something like that. I mean, they've just totally been lighting it up. But, Detroit has played well, and, Chicago is fighting to try to be out of the record books, but they're still going to be in the record books because that's still tied with the Mets. And think about it like this: the New York Mets was a expansion franchise. The Chicago White Sox have been in existence for over 100 years. They can't use the excuse that they're an expansion team and that they were just horrible. They were just flat out horrible. And, the number one reason they are horrible is management. The ownership, all the way from the top of ownership all the way down to the last player, that's what causes teams like that to be that bad. I mean, look at the Royals. The Royals were like that too, and they made changes. So hopefully maybe the White Sox will make some changes and they won't be as bad next year and lose 126 games, or 120 games, but still the fact is that that's a lot of games to lose. I mean, you got to be really bad to lose that many games, because even when you're playing NFL or NBA or NHL, it's hard to keep losing every week, just like it is very difficult to keep winning every week. You just can't do it because you've got professionals. It's not like college or even high school where, the teams are much better. Now in college, it's going to, you don't have that issue as much because now you've got the NIL and people paying the players now to play college football like never before. You were used to pay college players by giving them a scholarship. That was their money. You were going to pay them by getting an education after 4 years. And so, but in pro sports, everybody is supposed to be on the same level. Now, in baseball, it's a little bit different, where you've got the Dodgers and you've got the Yankees and teams like that. I mean, even the Angels, they can still afford that. They've got Mike Trout on a big contract. But the thing of it is that Mike Trout, his best ability has been unavailability. So he hasn't been showing up. But anyway, but the thing of it is that the professionals, they are taught, obviously they're taught to win, and they can win. If you're losing, they can figure out a way how to stop the losing. Maybe not stop losing more than winning, but still, you can still stop that. 120 losses and only 39 wins. I mean, that's a lot of losses.
Yeah.
That's a low percentage. So, but no, anyway, but it just, the Royals had really made a great improvement. Now they are 85, so they have to win.
Yeah, that would have them losing about 75% of their games.
Yep, absolutely. And so the Royals, had they not experienced these 2 7-game losing streaks since Pasquantino got injured, the Royals would have broke the record for most wins after losing over 100 games the year before, because the record, I believe, is 87, and in order for the Royals to do that, they would at least have to win 2 games to tie and all 3 against Atlanta to break that record. So we are at halftime on any given Sunday on KUAW. Coach 24, Darwin Penny, DJ Scatter, George Walker. I'm Brian Kress, the Awesome Voice, and we're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk a little football.
and gentlemen, welcome to the best sports show in Kansas City. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio, where sports come alive. Join your hosts, the awesome voice, and Coach 24, as they dive into the latest sports news, analysis, and excitement. From the biggest games to the most thrilling moments, they've got it all covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an hour of unbeatable sports action. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW.
All right, we're back for the second half of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. George Walker, DJ Scatter, Coach 24 Darwin Penny, and I am Brian Kress, the awesome voice. And we had been talking baseball in the first half, and now we're going to talk football. We've got the Chiefs. They are 3-0. They are going to go to Los Angeles and play the Chargers. Now, Patrick Mahomes has the Chargers numbered, though I think the Chargers have beaten the Chiefs maybe 2 or 3 times. But it seems like every time it was in Arrowhead. They are going to Los Angeles and playing them there. A lot of people are complaining about, Travis Kelce has lost a step. He's not the same player. Well, I mean, he's 34, 35 years old. There, a lot of players at that position did not play that well as Travis Kelce has. He's got the record for most 1,000-yard years for a tight end. I mean, he's going to be a he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a first vote Hall of Famer. And so, but anyway, so people are talking about the Chiefs, the horrible. Patrick Mahomes is horrible. Well, look, they are 3-0. They are still the number 1 team in my power rankings. So here's my power rankings. And a lot of people disagree that all the undefeated teams should be in the top 5. I disagree. I have them in my top 5. I have Kansas City number 1. I have Buffalo 2, Minnesota 3, Seattle 4, and Pittsburgh 5. All of them are 3-0. I've got Philadelphia, who came back after losing to Atlanta to beat the New Orleans Saints. They are 6. Houston Texans are 7. Detroit Lions, I almost said Tigers because we've been talking about the Detroit Tigers. They are 8. The Green Bay Packers are 9. And the New York Jets are 10. And so later on, I will be posting it on Facebook, my top 32. But I will give you my bottom 10 of the power rankings. Dallas is at 23 at 1-2, and that may be too high. You've got the New York Giants at 1-2, 24. Cleveland 25 at 1-2. New England, Chicago is at 26. Denver, even though they beat Tampa Bay and they did a good job of beating Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay, I still have them at 28. They're still a horrible team. Cincinnati is 0-3 and is the 30th ranked team. Tennessee is 31, and Jacksonville is the worst team in the NFL at 0-3. Now, there are only 3 teams without a loss. The Giants, the Carolina Panthers, Denver were all 0-2, and they won. Rams, I'm telling you what, the Rams for 3 quarters looked like they were going to go 0-3, and then they turned around and put a whooping on San Francisco. And San Francisco is 1-2, and they are not doing very well either. So, you people complain about how the Chiefs are winning. They're barely winning. The point is they are winning. They are undefeated. They are 3-0, and, this is the NFL. And here's the thing. They're going for a three-peat. Nobody wants them to get a three-peat with the exception of the Chiefs and the Chiefs fans. But they have struggled, but they have done everything it's taken to win. And Atlanta last week, I thought for a moment that they were going to beat the Chiefs, but Nick Bolton made sure that they did not do that. He played a whale of a game. Even as he was injured, he had to leave the field a few times. But they did what it takes, and this week is no more. Now, Jim Harbaugh is 2-0 against Andy Reid, but saying that, the last time that they have matched each other in a game was October 5th of 2014, so that was 10 years ago. Andy Reid has totally changed, and Jim Harbaugh has totally changed. Now, I mean, they're still good coaches and everything. I don't think that that the Chargers are going to be that much better. Andy Reid will have them prepared and do what it takes to get a victory, which I will say they will get a victory. Now, whatever the score is, you're going to have to watch my show on Sunday at 11:30 and find out. And then you'll find out where I'm ranked in the rankings. And I'm telling you what, after a great first week, these last 2 weeks have been really rough. And it's not just me, and it's not just Coach 24 and Max Gershon and Marvin Durant. It is the NFL Network guys, Rich Eisen, Kurt Warner, Steve Mariucci, Gerald McCoy. These guys watch film all week and prepare for a show. Yes, I do a show too, and I prepare for it also. But I am not getting millions of dollars to do this show, even though I do keep saying that I do get paid quite a bit, and hear the laughing in the background at the same time. But saying that, they have been rough. And right now, I am second by one game in my predictions. So I have still done pretty doggone good, even though you have these games. I mean, everybody thought the Vegas was going to beat the Panthers. Now, the thing of it is that I had information that Andy Dalton was 3-0 against Oakland, against the Raiders. I hate saying Las Vegas; it should be Oakland, but anyway, Dalton is 3-0 against the Raiders, and he put a whooping onto the Raiders this week too. So I mean, I should have went with my gut feeling and my information that I had, but I didn't. I just said, "Oh, I think the Raiders are going to win," because sometimes you think that you overthink how you pick instead of just using your your abilities. I have great abilities. I've been predicting football games since I was in high school. And Wesley Clark, it's great to see you. And if you're going to be in Kansas City, look me up. If you don't have my phone number, just send me a message on Facebook, and we will get together. So definitely do that. It's good to hear from you. But the thing of it is that these teams they are good, and so with the Chiefs they are going for a three-peat. They are one game, and I always say this every week. So the last 3 weeks that they have played, I have always said that the Chiefs are one victory closer to a three-peat. They are 3-0. They are number one team. Now, saying this, a lot of people would say that the Buffalo Bills are the better team than the Chiefs, just based on the fact that Josh Allen has performed better than Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes is a three-time champion, a back-to-back champion, which only one of 9 quarterbacks have done in the history of the NFL. So I am still going to stick with my guns and say,
excuse me, how many championships do Buffalo have?
Zero. They have 0. And so that's why Kansas City has the edge. They have 3 Super Bowls. Buffalo has 0. 3-0. Yes. And Josh Allen's best game ever, you would probably say, was the playoff game, the divisional playoff game, which everybody calls the 13-second game, because Patrick Mahomes went down the field in 13 seconds to get a kick a field goal. And you got to remember, Harrison Buckard had to nail a 50-plus yard field goal. I mean, if he botched that up, he would have been labeled like the Buffalo Bills, wide right or wide left or whatever. So anyway, but the the Chiefs are playing well, and they are winning. They're not winning pretty, but they are winning. I mean, look at New Orleans. The first 2 weeks, they scored 91 points, which was tied for second all time for most points scored in the first 2 games of the season. And the fact, if you go back to week 18 of last season, they had scored 44 points or more in all 3 of those games. And then they turn around and they play Philadelphia and they score 13 points. Are you kidding me? I mean, Philadelphia was ran over by Atlanta, and you should have done the exact same thing, and it didn't happen. So this is the NFL. The parity is at its best. It's not like baseball where the Yankees have gone 25 I think it's even more than that, has gone 35 years of winning baseball. They have been over 500 for like 35 years. But not in the NFL. I mean, the Chiefs, the year that Andy Reid came to the Chiefs, they had the number 1 draft pick because they were the worst team in the NFL. So they definitely wasn't over 500. Yes, they have been winning ever since. But, you get these teams. So you've got Dallas. You got Dallas that has given up 185 yards rushing per game, not just their defense. And their defense was one of the top 3 to 4 best defenses last year. And then all of a sudden, Green Bay Packers lit them up like a Christmas tree, and they haven't stopped the bleeding since. Now, they do play the New York Giants tonight, which I know I have not even asked him, and I did not get Max. I have not gotten a hold of Max. So, Max, if somehow your grandfather gets a hold of you and lets me know who you got tonight, I would appreciate it. But I know Marvin has already got the Dallas Cowboys, and I know Darwin, Coach 24, is picking Dallas. He does not go against Dallas. But here's the other thing. So I'm going back with my information that I have. Yes, New York Giants are playing better. And, yeah, Dallas has never played Neighbors before because he's a rookie. I mean, he's got 23 receptions, 271 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games. He is kicking butt. But Dallas is 13-1 against New York since 2017, outscoring them 438 to 232. Daniel Jones, is 1-12 on primetime games, a 0.077 percentage, which is the lowest since the 1970 era. So, I mean, Neighbors, I can see is good. But the thing of it is that the Giants does not have that great of a rushing game, which is right now the Dallas Cowboys' defensive Achilles heel. And so you need to run the ball against Dallas. But saying that, I've got the Dallas Cowboys beating the New York Giants tonight. Now, I don't have a prediction score, but I will give you one before I leave. And so, excuse me. So anyway, Dallas is winning tonight, and then you've got Buffalo and Baltimore. Now, Baltimore, this is their chance to show the NFL that they are still the team to be reckoned with, because right now the teams that were supposed to challenge Kansas City for the Super Bowl, you've got San Francisco, you've got Cincinnati, you got Baltimore, you have Buffalo. Buffalo is the only team right now that you would say has a shot at beating Kansas City, just based on how they have played the first 3 games. But you're only like 1/8 or 1/7 of the season, something like that. 1/6 of the season. I'm sorry. So you're at 1/7 of the 6th of the season. You've got a long ways to go. I mean, Kansas City struggled all year long, lost on Christmas Day, and they have not lost since then. They have won 9 straight games since that December Christmas debacle against the Raiders, and the Raiders have been talking smack since then. So I am really interested to see what happens, because after they play the Chargers, they go on Monday night at home against the Saints, and then they take a bye, the Week 6 bye. Then they will play San Francisco in San Francisco, and then they will go to Arrowhead West and play the Raiders. And yes, that is Arrowhead West, because Patrick Mahomes has won more games there than the Raiders have. So anyway, but I want to get into the other subject. Missouri, they're ranked 11th after barely squeaking by Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is always a tough team. You know, you always have that one nemesis that you struggle with, and that was them. But the thing of it is, again, just like the Chiefs, they are 4-0. Just keep winning. But the problem is in 2 weeks they play Alabama in Alabama. So they're going to have to play a lot better if they want to challenge Alabama. So now we are getting into the WNBA. And so Caitlin Clark's first season as a rookie is over. The Connecticut Sun took care of Caitlin Clark. There has been a lot of rumblings in the WNBA. I guess Caitlin was worried more about everything else around because she was fighting with the other team. She had a confrontation with a guy in the stands, and he had to be escorted out. There's been a lot of issues going on with that. But saying that, Connecticut moves on, the Liberty move on, and I'm trying to think of her name. She lit it up last night for 42 points, which was,
Was that Aisha?
No, not Aisha Wilson. That's with the Ace. That's with the Aces. She is the ununanimous MVP. No, it was the gal from the Liberty, New York Liberty. And so if you can check that up for me, I would appreciate that. Where also the Phoenix Mercury ended up losing to I can't remember who they played. The Minnesota Lynx. And maybe that was the game that she had 42 points, which was in WNBA playoff record. She just was unstoppable last night. But saying that, we don't know if
Talking about Wilson?
No, not Asia Wilson. She's with the Aces. There was a woman last night that played, and I am drawing a blank like nobody's business.
Let's see what I got.
Just say who scored 42 points last night.
Good point.
And Taurasi, Dana Taurasi had played in the WNBA for 20 years, and she was a phenomenal player. She has the most points. She's kind of like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the WNBA. She's got more points, and it's going to take a long time before anybody can even catch up with her.
Okay, I got her.
Who is it?
Nafisha Collier.
Yes, Collier.
Yeah.
And which team was she again?
She's with the Lynx.
Okay, she was with the Lynx. Not with the Liberty, New York, not the New York Liberty.
No,
but anyway,
Lynx.
Right, but they did beat the Phoenix Mercury, Brittany Griner and Dana Taurasi. And so she had 42 points last night. She was like 20 of like 24 from the field. No, I know she had three. She had 3-pointers. I believe she was probably like maybe 12 or 13 of 20, but she was just unstoppable last night. And so, but here's the thing. It is almost October, and we are talking about the WNBA. When is the last time anybody has talked about the WNBA in nearing October? Because by the time we do our show again next week, we will be in October. And usually they are just an afterthought. You know, they have their finals, and only a few people will see who wins. And has their, who's the champs, which the Aces are back-to-back champs, and they're going for a three-peat. But usually you've got the NFL, you've got Major League Baseball in the playoffs, so they are an afterthought. And then by the time they even get to that October, you've got hockey, which is almost kind of in the same realm. But then you've got NBA that starts up in November. So, but this year has been a totally different year. More attendance. They actually said that the price of tickets for the Fever and Sun game was more than all of the playoff tickets in the finals, which I believe there was. I think they played 4 games or 5 games. I know it's the best of 5. But the one ticket, buy a ticket, was more than all the tickets combined in the finals. That should tell you how popular WNBA is getting, which is a good thing. But the bad thing is you get all these haters that are just talking. They're not even talking trash. They're talking negative stuff, racist stuff, and that is bogus. That is BS, and I just do not believe in that. You know, if you don't want to root for Caitlin Clark, that's fine, but just boo her. Don't say names to her. And then you've got her media that, you know, Caitlin Clark is not saying all this stuff, but her fans are trying to say everything, and they make their comments and everything else, and then everybody is expecting Caitlin Clark or any other player that is in the WNBA that they have their fans that are saying. They expect them to try to stop it, and you can't stop it. You can only do what you can do, and that Caitlin Clark is doing the best. Now, a lot of times she does her flops, and she thinks she's fouled on every play, just like LeBron James. So she's being like LeBron James. So, see, that's not totally a bad thing, I guess, you know, because a lot of people love LeBron James, but a lot of people do not like LeBron James, or they call him LeFlop, so instead of LeBron. So, but that's the thing. But here it is. If the WNBA had not gotten so popular within this past year, just for the fact of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Boston, and and Coach 24 just texted me. He goes, "You know I'm going with Dallas tonight." I should have called him and said, "Yeah, you're picking the Giants, aren't you?" So if you're listening, Darwin, yes, I knew you were picking Dallas. There was no way you was not picking Dallas. Even if they only had a team of 5 guys, you would have still found a way to pick Dallas. But that is okay. So yes, I got, you've got Dallas. The only one I've got to get is Max, and hopefully I'm not even going to guess for him. So when I find out, I will post it on there. So, but we are near the end of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. And again, I want to talk about the ALS walk. That's Saturday, September 28th, at Asperia campus, which is the old Sprint campus, 6130 Sprint Parkway, Overland Park, Kansas. And then parking will be in the A and B garages. And then registrations begin at 9 o'clock. You can get teams if you you get a team, or if you want to be on Shane's team, Baseball Shane's team, his team is actually called Conquering ALS with Baseball Shane. If you want to be on his team, and you guys collect $100 or more, you guys can get T-shirts. Or if you get your own team and have your own team name and everything else, you can get T-shirts. And there will be other prizes and everything else. And then in pre-event activities from 9 o'clock to 10:30. And then at 10:30, they're going to do a mile walk around the campus. So it's going to be a great event. And everybody, please, if you can make it out, please make it out. And so I just want to do that. And with that, we are at the end of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. My brother with another mother, Coach 24, happy anniversary to you and Maria. Coach 24, Darwin Penny. Running the show, DJ Scatter, George Walker, and I am Brian Crest, the Awesome Voice. Be awesome, not angry, and you guys have yourself a phenomenal sports weekend.